27 men took off from a U.S. Navy base in Florida in 1945 and simply ceased to exist. The United States military searched 250,000 square miles of ocean. They found nothing. Not a seat cushion, not a dog tag, not a single drop of oil on the water. To this day, 80 years later, the official cause remains 3 words: causes unknown. This is the story of Flight 19, and once you hear it, you will never look at the sky the same way again. Leading the mission was Lieutenant Charles Carroll Taylor, a man with over 2,500 hours in the air. He had flown in combat across the Pacific. He had seen things that would break most men and had come home intact. This was not a man who got lost. This was not a man who panicked. And that is exactly what makes what happened next so deeply, profoundly disturbing. At 2:10 in the afternoon, 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers rolled down the runway and lifted into a cloudless Florida sky. The engines roared, the propellers bit into warm December air. From the ground, it looked like exactly what it was supposed to be: a training exercise, routine, textbook, safe. 14 men climbed into that blue sky with full fuel tanks, clear weather, and every reason in the world to believe they'd be home by dinner. Out over the Atlantic, the 5 planes held formation, 5 dark shapes against an infinite blue sky, the ocean stretching beneath them with no end in sight. From above, they looked perfectly ordered, perfectly in control. What no one on the ground yet knew, what even the pilot didn't fully know yet, was that somewhere out over that featureless water, something had already begun to go wrong. 90 minutes into a 2-hour flight, something impossible happened. Lieutenant Taylor looked at his compass, the instrument that had guided him through combat, through Pacific storms, through thousands of hours in the air, and the needle was spinning. Not pointing north, not pointing anywhere, spinning. He checked his backup compass, same thing, both of them simultaneously, completely useless. He looked out the cockpit window over the ocean and said the words that would haunt investigators for decades. Everything looks strange, even the ocean. At 3:40 p.m., a flight instructor flying nearby picked up something strange on his radio. The voice of Lieutenant Taylor, calm but unmistakably confused. Taylor said he didn't know where they were, that both his compasses had failed, that the ocean looked wrong. The instructor asked for their position. Taylor's answer were 4 words that changed everything: I don't know where. A decorated combat pilot flying in clear weather with 5 planes and a full crew, completely, inexplicably lost. The sun began to sink toward the horizon. The sky, which had been bright and welcoming when they took off, was turning to fire, orange, then amber, then a deep and threatening red. The fuel gauges were falling. Taylor had made the decision to fly northeast, believing the Florida coast was that direction. It wasn't. Every mile they flew took them further from land, further from rescue, deeper into open ocean. Night was coming, and with it, silence. At 6:20 p.m., a broken, fragmented transmission crackled through the radio at Fort Lauderdale. The words were incomplete, swallowed by interference, by distance, by whatever the ocean had already begun to take. Then nothing. Static. Silence so complete it had its own weight. Operators tried every frequency, called every call sign. 14 men were out there somewhere in the dark over the Atlantic, and they were gone. Not yet confirmed dead, but gone. The ocean had closed over them like a curtain.
Based on fuel calculations, the planes would have begun going down sometime between 7 and 8 p.m. in the dark, in open ocean. The Avenger was not designed to survive a water landing at night. The aircraft would have nosed forward on impact, filling with water within seconds. In the darkness of the Atlantic, with no ships, no lights, no coast, the ocean would have taken them quickly, completely, without ceremony. 14 men, 5 aircraft, 0 survivals, 0 wreckage ever confirmed. Within minutes of losing contact, Naval Air Station Banana River launched its response. 2 PBM Mariners, flying boats, massive, capable search aircraft built for exactly this kind of mission, were scrambled into the night sky. 13 more men, more engines, more eyes. For a moment, it felt like the story might still have a rescue at its ending. One of the mariners climbed into the darkness over the Atlantic. Its crew began their search pattern. 23 minutes later, they were gone too. A cargo ship called the SS Gaines Mills saw it happen. A ball of fire in the night sky. Sudden, total, catastrophic. They changed course immediately and raced to the location. When they arrived, there was an oil slick on the surface of the water. A few small pieces of debris. No life rafts, no survivors, no distress signal had been sent. The mariner had been there, and then it simply was not. 13 more men erased by the same sky that had already taken 14. For 5 days, the United States Navy conducted one of the largest search operations in its history. Over 300 aircraft, dozens of naval vessels, 250,000 square miles of ocean covered in a systematic, desperate grid search. They found nothing. No wreckage, no oil slick, no seat cushion, no dog tag, no human remains. The ocean had swallowed 27 men and 6 aircraft and had given back absolutely nothing. The search was eventually called off. The silence of the ocean was the only answer anyone ever got. The Navy convened a board of inquiry. Officers in dress uniforms, stacks of documents, charts, radio logs, weather reports, all of it laid out on a table in a formal courtroom where answers were expected to be produced. They blamed Lieutenant Taylor, a man who could not defend himself because a man who cannot be found cannot testify. His mother fought that verdict for years. Eventually, the Navy relented. The official cause of the disappearance of Flight 19 was changed to 3 words that explained nothing. Causes unknown. The disappearance of Flight 19 did not stay in naval files. It escaped into the public imagination and never came back. It became the cornerstone of one of the most enduring mysteries in modern history, the Bermuda Triangle. That roughly triangular stretch of Atlantic Ocean between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, where ships vanish, where compasses spin, where the ocean gives nothing back. Skeptics say it's myth. Scientists say it's statistics. But the families of 27 men know only one thing. Their fathers, their sons, their brothers flew into that sky, and the sky kept them. 80 years have passed. The ocean has not spoken. Search teams with modern sonar, satellite mapping, and deep-sea technology have scoured those waters. They have found World War II aircraft on the ocean floor, but none confirmed as Flight 19. 27 men went into the sky on a December afternoon and did not come back. The Navy's file is still open. The case remains, officially, formally, permanently, unsolved. Somewhere beneath the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, in waters so deep and dark that light has never touched it, the answer waits, and the ocean keeps its secret still.